not just making this video for you, but I'm also making this video for me because we all need a reminder when it comes to those in the crypto space holding on to Bitcoin. We need a reminder and we need to understand the magnitude of this market. We need to understand the times we are in. We need to understand how much of a disruptor Bitcoin is and how much it's going to change the world. We need to understand that it's going to go higher than we could ever imagine and it's going to drop lower than we could ever imagine. I will never forget, to just preface this video, I will never forget the day that Bitcoin hit $3,000. And for the first time ever, I thought it was over. I thought it was going to zero and I thought I was going to be poor for a very long time. But indeed, that was not the case. Instead, I should have bought up even more Bitcoin yesterday. I should have took every dime I had and I should have bought Bitcoin at the bottom at $3,000. And it was in that moment that I knew exactly the moment in time when you should be jumping into an asset. It should be, in most cases, if you believe in the long-term sustainability of it, if you believe in the project long-term, if you believe in the fundamentals, it should have been the moment when I realized that if there is something I truly believe in, whether it's a cryptocurrency, whether it's a stock or any sort of asset, if I believe in it long-term and I am sick to my stomach, if the price makes me sick to my stomach, it's the bottom and it's time to buy more. So that was one of the most important lessons I learned in the bull market. I felt that feeling of what it feels like to be so terrified. But that's when I ultimately should have been greedy. So today we are going to be looking at the handy dandy chart, the Wall Street cheat sheet, the psychology of a market cycle. Here's the good news. Most of the time, all market cycles can be compared to one another. And that's just because human emotion always functions the same way. I do think that because Bitcoin is so early on that it's not going to move like your typical stocks. But what I'm going to be going over today is, this is not my first Bitcoin market cycle. I've been here before. I've been in this space since 2016. And so I am speaking from my personal experience. I'm going to be talking about the things that I felt and the things that I thought about and how I am taking those lessons that I learned in the previous market cycle and I'm applying it to this one to help me make better decisions moving forward. So let's go and look at this chart. Where do I think we are? I believe we are between optimism and belief. Optimism. This rally is real. Belief. Time to get fully invested. And the reason why I say that is because the last week I've been thinking a lot about selling a lot of my other assets, a lot of my other cryptocurrency, literally selling everything I have and going all in on a Bitcoin. And I'm actually taking action and making moves to do that specific thing. So I truly believe we are between optimism and I believe we are between optimism and belief. Let's talk about euphoria. Euphoria is when we know we're at the top. Euphoria is when your life, well, I guess it depends. I'm going to say this applies for people that really got in early. So you're going to have people that bought at all different sorts of prices for Bitcoin, right? You're going to have people that bought at $20,000. You're going to have people that bought it at $100, people that bought it $10,000. But one thing is for sure, and for someone who has been around since 2016, someone who started buying Bitcoin at $350, someone who started buying Bitcoin or Ethereum at $7, this is what I know from the previous go around. Euphoria felt like I was the smartest person in the world. It made me feel like my ego was incredibly inflated. It had me wondering if I should go out and buy a G-Wagon. It had me just fantasizing of all the fancy things I should have bought. It had me just throwing around money as if money didn't mean shit, okay? And that's what euphoria felt like to me. It felt like I was high as a kite every day. The feeling of euphoria was so intense that I couldn't even sleep at night, okay? And so I am seeking out that similar feeling when I believe we are somewhere near the top. Here's a few things to keep in mind. I personally believe that this bull market is going to look very different than the previous one. I don't think it's going to be nearly as volatile. I think there's still going to be plenty of volatility. I don't think it's going to be as volatile, meaning I don't think we're going to necessarily see 40% pullbacks. I think we're going to see closer to 20 to 30% pullbacks. I think that this market is going to get drug out longer than previous bull markets because it's a different kind of money coming in. Previously, we saw retail investors, and now we're seeing, hedge funds and big companies like Square putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. It is a different environment. At the end of the day is this: no one can absolutely or positively predict the top of the market. But what you can do is you can reflect on what you've seen before and the experiences that you've had before to make the best decision in this particular market cycle. But here are a few things I want you to keep in mind as you make the decision for yourself. You know this. Know that there are 21 million Bitcoin. Know that anywhere between 25% of all Bitcoins are lost forever. Know that there are over 40 million millionaires. There are not even enough Bitcoins for every millionaire in the world to have just one. Remember that there are 8 billion people in the world. Know that the average time frame of a fiat currency lasting is 100 years, and we sure are getting close there when it comes to the US dollar. Understand that people want freedom when it comes to their assets, and people are understanding what the banks really are and how corrupt they truly are, and that there is nothing better than having full control over your assets. Just sit and realize how scarce Bitcoin is, and that is one of the most valuable attributes of it. Just realize how much more powerful and beneficial Bitcoin is over gold. And when you just sit there and realize how big Bitcoin is, you realize that you really shouldn't be in a hurry to sell. For me, I'm just trying, I live off of my Bitcoin, so I'm trying to find the right price to just have enough money to live off of for the next, 2 to 3 years until maybe the next bull market comes around. So keep those things in mind when you start thinking about the euphoria stage. What I can say is this. I think it's important that we also take a look at Google Trends. I did here how to buy Bitcoin. Let's first look at the 12-month progression. We've seen a bit of growth over the last year, but nothing substantial like when you look at the 5-year trend and how massive it got in this range and where we are today. We can see the interest and where it was at the end of 2017 and where it is today at the end of 2020. Just realize that if you are a holder of Bitcoin, you are absolutely part of, I wouldn't even say the 1%. I would say maybe a 1/10 of the 1%. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. But the most important thing is that it's going to take you to be able to sit and think about your emotions. Think about your emotions. And if this is not your first time experiencing a bull run when it comes to Bitcoin, just watch people around you and ask yourself some questions. Is this life-changing money? And I think that's a really important question to ask yourself. Never be afraid to take profits. So that's all I have for you today. What I want you to do is I want you to get 4 free stocks. Don't forget to pick up your $10 of free Bitcoin by using my link to sign up for Coinbase. And as always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love. My portfolio is heavy Bitcoin. All I can say is that, guess what? I love it.